Good evening. The following film was originally supposed to be part of a much broader subject. But miracles do happen. And it turned out so well that I decided I have to just show this. So I had no intro until now. Enjoy. Whee! So this represents, I think, pretty much everything out of the interior that needs to be resprayed are turquoise. This is they're interchangeable. This is actually out of a 67 Camaro. Pretty sure they're interchangeable. Anyway, obviously same armrest as the cheap Corvair one. So we're going to pop these apart. This had the plastic chrome originally in the Camaro, which is awesome. Ew. So we will be dealing with that in a bit. My screws out here. That guy. Same thing. Seems to be solid though, which is great. That guy, these are ready. I think, looks like we got a spring-loaded pin there. We got a clip here. Ugh. Stubborn clip, but a clip. Okay. I'm guessing the knob is threaded. Maybe not. Let's turn in here. I don't know. Oh, that hurts. Oh, the skin. Ouch. Oh. Are you doing what I need you to do? I don't know. I could be wrong. Let's just do this. Okay. Maybe the easy answer is always the best. Something like that. Okay, these are labeled, these doors, left and right. Spring pin goes on top, and the label goes to the outside, so I should make a note of that. Also, what do you guys think? Are these supposed to be green? They are certainly both green. It looks like these have even gotten paint on them or something. I don't know. I might just leave them. Oh boy. Well, I ran out into the cold and did some media blasting in the other part there. Just a little spot here on the bottom of the armrest. Kind of a, not a rough surface, but certainly a scuffed up one. You know, could even go over it with a little bit of sandpaper, but honestly, priming that first would be your first step in my mind anyway, and that would probably take care of the texture of the thing. There are no armrests used, original armrests that I see of this style, that aren't cracked there and there. Mine, or my original one from the car, is also. So I'll have to epoxy that up. sand it smooth. I also did some media blasting in here, and I don't think it's going to really mess anything up too bad. You know, of course the guy would like to keep that grain, that leather grain look, but it's already pretty messed up on these. So, I don't know. There's just so much dried out plastic on this, and I really wanted to try this to see if our grills, if that would mess things up as far as that goes. I don't think it will. I think we can clean it up that way. Something to try anyway, and I guess I'll peel back my material and get to these steel cores. Wow. That's incredible. Your foam. Hey, that's perfectly good. Yeah, what do we have, caterpillars or what? Okay. You know, I guess I won't be painting them, which is great. That is marvelous. Still kind of a darker green. That's interesting, those knobs. I was going to try a couple things, and then I just had a thought. You know, I keep xylene around, xylene thinner. Kind of a staple anymore in this shop. I forget, I had a product I needed to use, I needed to thin with it, and I've just kept it around ever since. I have spilled it on this plastic mat in the past, and like here, it's kind of gotten scuffed up again and so forth, but it just makes, if you spill it on here and leave it and come back, it's dry, it's perfectly glossy. So it, you know, it melts a little bit, the plastic. So I cleaned this up with it. Well, let's just go through it. Why talk about it and then do it? Why not just do it? That's awesome. One of those little victories. All right, let's get you a better shot here. So it looks great initially going on, as you can expect, but it does dry out dull again on this, you know, different plastic, I suppose. And obviously the plastic has been tampered with. I didn't think it would look that good. I thought the plastic surface would be way too scuffed up. And especially this one. This is the passenger one. I got a little crazy with the propane torch on this, trying to melt it, make it look good by heating up the plastic. Which can work in some instances too, but it tended to just burn in the end. Tended to just burn the really dried out chalky stuff on the surface, and then it had no place to go, so it ended up just looking really lousy. Didn't work out, you know, but that's how we figure things out. I was gonna, after media blasting, I was thinking I should get the heat gun out and try to soften it up and try to get rid of that rough texture that way. But I thought, you know, I could clean this with xylene and see if that tends to smooth it out as well. This one's gonna look okay, you know, got some blotchiness here and there, some weird effects in the grain, but most of that's gonna be covered up, and it's a kick panel anyway, for goodness sakes. I'm really kicking myself for not doing a true before and after picture, but oh well. I really didn't think I'd have astounding results. I was just assuming I was painting these things. So anyway, we got some old school wipe on, wipe off turtle wax. Super hard shell. Just gotta smear it. Give it a good smear. And I will just give you the cautionary disclaimer that I'm a babe in the woods with media blasting and then reconstituting 60-year-old plastic. So don't take this as a step-by-step instruction on absolutely what to do, because I am experimenting here. So I'm going to let that soak in. I'm actually going to reapply to this one. It feels great. It looks and feels like car plastic that you freshly cleaned and armor-rolled, actually. But I just want that raw plastic to soak in as much stuff as we can here. I suppose a guy could, instead of waxing this, a guy could have tried shooting some satin clear on this and see what that looked like, or on the back of it, anyway. In these grills, I'm trying just the exact same thing. It's still kind of wet with the thinner, but that's what that's looking like. Doing the same exact operation on the grills here. And according to the other one, it's going to take a little bit to get all the wax cleaned out of all the edges there. But, wow. So, I will do this. We need to repair some seals on the flapper doodles there. So we'll have to get some rubber for that. We'll have to cut new covers for the armrests. I'm going to just treat these with some cold galvanized. Maybe get all the coal slag out of them. But ultimately, the point of this segment of the video was painting, and we have strayed a little bit. Alright, it's been several weeks since we were last working on this, and this has kind of become its own project, its own video, really. I really want to figure this out and do a good job, because this is a very typical restoration problem. Kick panels and other plastic interior parts, they are all too often I want to say it wrong, but you can't get them. And, you know, they're so often what you got, it's terribly dried out and faded, like we had here. And so if we can nail down a great way to make them look presentable at the very least again, I think that would be very helpful. So I had those few products I tried, and we had them and they were looking great, but between this being incredibly dried out from age and sun-baked and faded and whatever else, by the way, if you're a senior, you need to be drinking a lot more water than anyone I ever knew does. You know, helpful hint. Take a hint from your daughters and granddaughters and carry the Stanley around with you everywhere you go full of water, you know. You will feel a lot better. Anyway, that soaked all that up to where it's kind of dull and looks dry again. There's even really dry, lighter spots, you know, and it's just kind of splotchy again. This morning I came back with the back to black trim restorer. I am having problems this afternoon. And recoated one of them, and of course it's shiny again, but that was several hours ago, and I can tell there's some dryness there, and you know, and that's going to be inconsistency with where I warm this thing up with the torch and so forth. But I think we can do better. So I was in town, I got the Power Cone 360, and we're going to try some mechanical persuasion instead of just chemical, and see if we can get this looking a little bit better. I ordered some seal supplies for our flappy doodles in here, and I got that, and that's what I was kind of waiting on, why I hadn't assembled all of this yet, and kind of glad we didn't get anywhere with it yet. Anyway, just working on, you know, your really heavy cut stuff here. We're going to try that. I'm going to make a mess of myself and everyone around me. Get your drop cloths handy. Gallagher's coming through. How are we looking? I mean, I think we're looking great. Is it going to stay? That's the next question. I need to get in there and around here yet. And there's what we look like after just a little bit of work with the Power Cone and the polishing compound. So I don't know. I mean, it's got a nice sheen to it. If mechanically we have smoothed out the pores, you know, closed the pores, and prevented that stuff from drying out and the rough surface from media blasting showing back up, then we'll have done our job. You know, time will tell. I'm going to do the other one, and then I'll put these aside again and check them out after some time has passed. Okay, the next day again, here's kind of the end result. Obviously, buffing them out did make them quite a bit more glossy. However, I noticed we still had just a few dried out patches, and I don't know if you can tell, you know, I still see some blotchiness in this worst one here, but what I did today, all I did, I've got old school Armor All, you know, I don't know that it's any different than new. I'm not saying anything there, I just had this. Hosed them both down with it, let it sit as I went about my morning, wiped it off, reapplied, I've done that 3 times, and this is how they look. And this is where I'm going to end it. Got my ventilators here, and I think we're going to look perfectly fine for what we're doing with the rest of the car. It is just how well it worked to media blast these just blew me away. I did not expect to be able to do that. I think to finish this video out, I may as well show you what I'm going to do with our flaps and the seals on that, and we're going to call this done. So here's the skinny on the kick panel vents, or the lowdown, you know. A guy wanted to replace the seals on the little flaps before he puts them back in because they're shot and kind of broken free of the flap, you know. So I got online and was looking for foam rubber, kind of a soft foam rubber that they use on seals like that, 1/8 inch by 1/2 inch roughly in nominal figures. All he could find for a reasonable amount of money and a reasonable amount of product, like, I don't want 10,000 feet, you know, at 5 cents a feet or whatever. All I could find is the adhesive back. Exactly the dimensions I wanted, exactly the soft rubber I wanted. But we got that darn sticky double-sided tape on it. And here's what I've ended up with without the sticky. Right? How in the world does a guy do that? Or a gal? But let's be honest. If a gal needs to do it, a smart gal will somehow get her guy to do it. What is becoming one of my favorite products in the entire world as far as cleaning stuff up is xylene. I mean, this stuff, I'm amazed. I use it all the time anymore. Now, a guy may want to do this where there's ventilation and no open flames. I've got both of those. I've got no ventilation and I have open flames in here. But it's the dead of winter outside, and that's not going to happen. No, I'm being careful, whatever that means. But I just poured some of this stuff out on these paper towels and set this down on there. I was soaking, letting that adhesive on the bottom just soak that up. And now I noticed that if I come in and I give the seal a little stretch, and you can see what happens. Okay, that may have been too much of a stretch. I was getting a little cocky there, you know. So I'm going to cut another piece and do the exact same thing. But I think you get the idea. And then I basically took a red rag with more xylene on it and rubbed it. But you see how easily that stuff comes off of there now. So anyway, I'm going to go make a crow sandwich, and then I'm going to cut another piece and do that over again. So here's what it looks like, what I'm doing. Kind of a fiddly thing. And I really don't think I'm doing this factory correct. Okay? What I suspect, how these are actually built, is you have a foam rubber sandwich between the two pieces of metal, and the rivets are holding it together. Because if we rip away the old nasty seal here, we've got a layer all the way around of the rubber, and I doubt it's just a channel that a little dog leg of the rubber fits into. I'm pretty sure the whole thing is all rubber, you know. So what I'm trying, first of all, is our piece of, our seal piece, the 1/8 by 1/2 inch that we took the adhesive off of. I'm, with a razor blade, I tore off the old, I went around it with a weather strip adhesive, and I'm just trying to glue it on in the same orientation that these are. If we find that rips away, obviously I'm going to wait for it to glue perfectly dry, or cure. If I find it rips away in use, then I'm going to have to try to source a sheet, drill out the rivets, and rebuild it the way that they did. We're going to try this first, see how it goes. I don't know why the green knobs threw me off my guard earlier. I just don't think I was prepared for that level of awesomeness. Let's see. That's going to be in, because that's the hook point for the cable. And up. So, to start the black one in the bottom, I'm going to pull this pin down, make sure our seal is going to work, and then I got to find that hole there. Okay. Looks like that might work. Got a little oil on these cables. Just open it a bit, slide that on. Something like that. Now for our clip. Just something like that. I'm going to close it gently so that'll all finish curing again. Is this going to be long-term successful? I have no idea. I will install those once in the car because we've got our screw holes there. There we go. You can kind of remember what this looked like compared to what it is now. You know, guys, it's no wonder on so many project vehicles you may see running around, you may see online in videos, other guys doing stuff. So many of those, the interiors are just torn up, clapped out, blankets on the seats, no headliner. The trim looks terrible if they've even left it in. Sometimes just rip it out of there, throw it away, forget about it, we're better off without it kind of thing. You know, and what's a guy to do in most cases when no one makes it and it's in terrible shape? Sometimes you can get spray dyes, you know, but they really often don't come in a color you need, right? As in this case. So this is an excellent little trick. I had no idea, once again, going in, if it was going to work. I had no idea it was going to turn out this good. I mean, look at that thing. Looks brand new. So I am really excited to get that back in the Corvair. That will be really the next step as we get back to it. I think I'll make this video its own. So there you go, guys. You can play around with that one if you need to do it. Thanks a lot for coming along. God bless you. We'll see you on the next one. You still holding together in there? Good.